It is Tuesday, but you'll be watching this on Wednesday. Um, Gotta say, I'm kind of dragging today. Kind of got a headache, and I'm hoping this isn't. Hoping it's just a headache and a lack of sleep. But still waiting on those test results. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go through the slides that have been prepared because there are kids. I'm still missing one Tuesday kid. We'll look at that in a minute. And then I noticed that I don't have a lot of Wednesday kids either. So we'll just go through what I got. Just make sure to try and get it in on the day that it's due for you so that you don't lose those points. And let's just start with Franklin's here. So Franklin's doing one of my favorite topics, and I'm sorry I'm not as enthusiastic about this right now just because, like I said, I got a headache, and I'm not real sure what's going on with that, but hopefully it's just a stress thing and not COVID. Anyway, SpaceX capsule with 4 astronauts reaches space station. Very cool. I will say Elon Musk, it's kind of like one of my favorite things that Donald Trump did. He created the Space Force. I don't know why, but I just love that. I mean, who knows? When people look back in time at Donald Trump, uh, you know, historically speaking, when we look at presidents from the past, we can reflect like 100 years out and say, oh, these are the good things that president did, and these are the bad things that president did. So maybe the good thing for Donald Trump will be the fact that he created the Space Force and that you had pioneers like Elon Musk creating SpaceX. So Elon Musk, as many of you know, is pushing the forefront of space technology. He's the one that's given us the Tesla. He owns PayPal. That's why he's so rich. And he's created SpaceX, which is now a for-profit private space agency that works with NASA. And I think he has the ultimate goal of trying to get to Mars. Now, will he do it in his own lifetime? I don't know. But that's what he wants to do. He wants to colonize Mars. All right, who? 4 astronauts. By the way, speaking of Elon Musk, isn't he's the one that believes that we're all living in a computer program, right? And so that's a topic in and of itself, kind of a philosophy that um, our technology is so far advanced that we've created a computer simulation program for ourselves that we're living in, kind of like the Matrix, if you ever watch those movies. All right, so the what? SpaceX newly launched capsule with 4 astronauts arrived Monday at the International Space Station, their new home until spring. Whoa, that's a long time. Talk about social isolation. The Dragon capsule pulled up and docked late Monday night following a 27-hour completely automated flight from NASA's Kennedy Space Center. The link up occurred 262 miles above Idaho. Oh, what a good voice to hear, Space Station astronaut Kate Rubins called out when the Dragon's commander Mike Hopkins first made radio contact. All right. So this article was posted on November 17th, where this happened at Cape Canaveral in Florida. So we have, I think, 2 big spaceports. One is Cape Canaveral, which sits right off the coast of Florida. And then the other one might be Houston, but I could be wrong about that. Why? They sent 4 astronauts to help the others that were in the space station. So, they're running a lot of programs. They're working with NASA. I think they're doing a lot of stuff like they make profit by charging NASA to use their rockets to like shoot satellites in space. So a lot of what they're doing is they're advancing technology, but they're also, running experiments and trying to make their end goal, setting up a space stations, a moon station, and the eventual goal is to colonize Mars. So question, where was the link up above of? I'm not sure that makes sense, but it kind of makes sense. Idaho, Indiana, California, Juan. Well, I might have to go back and look at that because I was thinking you were going to say Cape Canaveral. Oh, above Idaho. Okay, there you go. All right, came from AP News Source. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. There's the AP News Source. Again, I don't think really when it comes to news you can beat AP. Probably the Wall Street Journal if you're a little bit more conservative. So it might be good to follow the Wall Street Journal in terms of like what they're thinking about the presidential race and other sources. And then of course you got the BBC that some of you like to use, and that's a good outside source just because it comes from the British. There's the docking of the rocket. Pretty cool. A little slideshow I'll click through. Here it is. Coming to port. There's the astronauts. Wow, very nice. There's SpaceX launching Falcon 9 rocket with their Crew Dragon capsule attached. There they are coming into the space station, giving each other hugs. So, NASA probably paid Elon Musk a lot of money to get these astronauts up there. The astronauts are NASA-trained astronauts. There they are. Now, I kind of ponder the question. I wonder, and I think about, are these guys feeling safer up there? Do they feel like, okay, no COVID up here, right? Here's Kay Debose. What's Debo's pick of the week? Debo's pick of the week is, Kentucky town elects Doc as mayor? Really, Kate? Really? Oh my gosh. It's funny that you did this article, Kate, because I have seen signs around, just like somebody's yard right down the road from mine, that it says elect dogs for 2020. And so maybe the Kentuckians took that for real. All right. It's loading. I will say that's the one kind of painful thing about this is getting those slides loaded. You just want them to load quickly. But I mean, I guess we would be facing that in the class as well, right? Maybe the difference is there wouldn't be commentary coming from the audience in the classroom. So here we go. Kentucky town elects dog as mayor. All right. I don't know. Maybe, Cage, you're giving Felipe a challenge. Oh, please tell me it's a French bulldog that they elected. Please. Those are my favorite dogs. All right. A small town in Kentucky elected a dog as their mayor. Okay, if I would vote for that dog. I mean, just look at that dog. I would vote for that dog, hands down. Oh my gosh, that's the mayor. Who? Kentucky Town Community and Wilbur Beast, French Bulldog. Yes. The story's getting even better. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up between the dog as mayor and the deer crashing through the window. We might have to do a survey on this. All right. When did this happen? November 4th on Election Day. Makes sense. Where? Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. Okay. I'm sorry, but I got to figure out where Rabbit Hash, Kentucky is. So my family's from Kentucky. My mother's side of the family's from Louisville, and my dad's side of the family is like from way up in the mountains. There's some real serious hillbillies up there. All right, Wilbur won the election with 13,143 votes, which is the highest winning total for the town. The Rabbit Hash is known for its historic general store that dates back to the 19th century, but it was destroyed in 2016 fire. The store has since been rebuilt, and the mayoral election is a fundraiser in which each dollar donated counts as a vote for the candidate of the donor's choice. Okay, so I guess the money, this money is going to rebuild the general store. So it was just an election they had for fun. All right, here's the source he got. And what was the name of that town again? Okay, did you forget your question? Oh, he forgot his question. Bummer. It's Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, though. So let's go back and look at that real quick. I gotta find Rabbit Hash. I feel a field trip coming on. Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. There's the general store. Here's the map. Oh, it's on the Ohio River. It's probably fairly close to us if it's closer to Louisville, Kentucky. It's right across the Indiana border. There's the rising sun. Where's the... Here we go. I'm zooming out. Okay, it's close to Cincinnati. All right, now that's interesting. I've been through Florence and Cincinnati several times because I grew up on the east side of the state in Newcastle, right here. So I'm guessing that's probably a 3-hour drive from where we're at. That's just a guess. All right, let's move on to our next slideshow. We're going to do Addison's. What's Addie Pooh got? Hey, man, any French bull has my vote. Any French bulldog. I'm just saying. All right, this is some really good news, and I'm glad Addison picked this as her topic because we got a second vaccine coming. And so, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't have COVID and I can dodge that and get that vaccine. And it does sound like, from everything I'm hearing, we're going to have a normal school year next year. It's going to be goofy this year as our numbers shoot up. I mean, people are talking about more schools closing, and we just had a couple of cases today at North White go home. So I don't know what the total number of people are at home because of COVID, but it's not, I guess they're going to quantify it as if we have 11 cases or more of COVID, not contact tracing. Like, I'm contact traced, right? So what happened was, actually, I'm not even contact traced. My daughter is. So because my daughter's contact traced, they just told me to go ahead and stay at home and make sure she was negative before I came back into school. Because if she's positive, there's a good chance everybody in my household will have it, right? So we're waiting for that test result, primarily from her. I went ahead and took one too, just to make sure I don't have it. But if she does get positive, she does have a positive result, then I have to go back for a second test, because if mine came up negative, they want to just see if, it hadn't had enough time to incubate yet. So the good news here is this. Just like Addison says, there's a second virus vaccine. It shows overwhelming success in U.S. tests. I forget the name of the company. I'm sure Addison will mention it, but the virus itself, or the vaccine itself, from what I saw in the news, was like almost 95% effective, which is really cool. And they're talking about basically getting it out to everyone, distributing out to everyone before next school year, right? So before August 2021, everybody that wants a vaccine, that'll be made available to them. And then when we go back into the regular school year, it will be an actual regular school year, right? We haven't had a regular school year since the third quarter of 2020, spring 2020, right? So we'll see. We'll kind of follow this and see how it progresses. But it was some really good news. Oh, here we go. Moderna and Pfizer. So Pfizer's the first one that came out with it. They had one. They've got one that's like 90% effective, and then Moderna is, I think, close to 95% effective, according to the study. Okay, so the what and the how. Two companies both came up with a vaccine and are competing against to see which one is better. Moderna said Monday its COVID-19 vaccine is providing highly effective in a major trial, a second ray of hope in the global race for a shot to tame the resurgent virus that has now killed more than 8,000 people a day worldwide. I think it's something like 3,000 a day in the United States, but I could be wrong. At the rate we're going, they're saying that another 100,000 people are going to die between the time Trump steps down and Biden steps up. Now, I say that thinking that Biden has won this election. I guess it's still being contested, although the courts have repeatedly thrown out Trump's lawsuits. So it's looking more and more like his pathway to having a second administration is over. So a week ago, competitor Pfizer Incorporation announced its own vaccine appeared similarly effective. A vaccine can't come fast enough as virus cases topped 11 million in the U.S. over the weekend. Yeah, it's bad right now. It's really bad. And they're saying it's not going to get any better anytime soon. The article was posted November 17th. Where? In the United States. I guess this is kind of a global issue. I mean, I don't know where they invented their vaccines. Okay, how many cases were topped over the weekend in the U.S.? 12 million, 11 million, 21 million, 10 million. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to go back and look at that. Go back. Okay, as virus cases topped 11 million. All right, there we go. And she got that from AP News. Good job, Edison. Good job, Edison. Let me get out of here. Go back to our class. Okay. So we got Cade, we got Addison, we got Franklin. And let's go ahead and do Gracie's and we'll call it a day. So here's Gracie's. Oh, by the way, I think before I actually wrap this up, well, we'll talk about it after Gracie's slideshow. But I do want to say I've got some feedback this morning. Most of it seemed pretty good. The one thing that I have gotten like from other classes is, yeah, this is great. A lot of positive response, but maybe not do it every day. Do something else, change it up a little bit. Maybe do like a little bit of news to watch. Maybe there have been a couple of kids mention an online scavenger hunt. I'm not sure how that would work. And then I've had some kids say, hey, do another field trip. So we'll see. We'll play around with it a little bit. And I'm talking about it like it's inevitable, but it might not be inevitable. We might, who knows? Maybe North Whitestat School is going to have low enough case number to where we can stay in school. Okay, so this is a sad story. Sad said, Grace likes the sad stories. Make me cry, Grace. So a boy lost parents to COVID-19. His family asked Texas community for help celebrating his 5th birthday. Oh my gosh. 5 years old. That's just terrible. Can I just say this is like this story kind of is a little personal to me because the last big epidemic we had was in was after World War II. It was in the sometime around 1920, and my grandfather was directly affected by that pandemic. So in his case, he was 4 years old, and his parents both died. And so my grandfather was not raised by my great grandparents; he was raised by a great aunt of mine. And so this story just totally reflects that. The family, I remember hearing family stories about how the Fields family had to figure out, which family member are we going to leave James Fields with. So James Fields was my grandfather, and so he lost both of his parents in the pandemic, just like this little 5-year-old. All right, a 4-year-old little boy named Ralden Gonzalez. So there you go, 4 years old. I mean, 4-year-old. It's been around long enough to know their mom's gone, so that's going to make them pretty upset. This young boy lost his parents due to COVID-19. Wow, they look so young. Now, just because you're young doesn't mean you have health issues. I was kind of looking into it yesterday, and they were saying obesity was a big, indicator that you need to be careful with COVID. And so I'm thinking, oh gosh, I'm pretty heavy. At what weight? So I actually looked it up, and it was I think I'm 5'9", and I'm about 205 to 210 pounds. In order to be in that scenario where you could be in trouble, I'd have to be 250 pounds. So I'd have to be 40 pounds heavier. So these people look like they're kind of big. And we have different classifications, right? So there's morbid obesity, there's obesity, there's overweight, and then you have the right weight. So they're basing that on a body mass index. And then there's, your less weight. But let's just say they were heavy smokers and they're morbidly obese. Then those are two dangerous things that you could have that might cause you to get hurt by COVID. All right, so on June 3rd, 2020, his father tested positive for COVID and passed away on June 26, 2020. Golly. This happened in Texas. His father started having what he thought were just allergy symptoms, but later found out he was having symptoms of COVID. They found out his mom passed away from COVID-19. Doesn't really say how his mom did. Okay, how? Ralden's mom and dad both tested positive for COVID, and they were put into ICU because they weren't getting any better. His dad passed away on June 26th, and his mom passed away at 8:14 Tuesday morning. Sheesh. All right, what killed Ralden's parents? COVID-19, heart attack. And they're finding that with these heavier people, and maybe this is what I'm a little bit worried about, is that something in COVID is triggering heart attacks and strokes in older patients and people who have high cholesterol or whatever. So, personally, I'm going to be 51. Damon's calling me out for dying at 51. Damon, don't do that. And so, that's just something that you get to my age, and maybe kids your age aren't as worried about that. But, you got aunts and uncles and teachers and grandparents that are going to be more vulnerable to that. So that's just something to think about. All right, guys. I already talked a little bit about the feedback. This will be your Tuesday lesson. And I'll embed just a few questions on that, and then we'll move on. Hopefully, I'll find some results out by tomorrow, and I can get back to work on Thursday. But if not, we'll keep plugging away at this. Just make sure you're getting your slideshows in on time, And let's just say in theory that like something happens like where we have to close down after Thanksgiving. Let's just say theoretically that happens. You need to be like, what we'll do in this class. I mean, unless you're wanting me to just assign like news stories, we can watch nightly news every day. Is I'll have you submit these slideshows when you're supposed to submit them, and then I'm going to do what I'm doing here, and maybe it seems like you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully that won't get old. And I'm always open to suggestions because I just want to make like online learning right for you guys. I think I know I see my own kids being frustrated with it. I see them feeling like some teachers aren't giving them enough help. And so I just want to make sure it's right for you guys. Okay, so take care. I'm starting to miss you. And I'm hoping to see you on Thursday. Talk to you guys later. Bye.